Right now at 10, an ethics complaint is filed. The defamation accusation reported by a Madison alder.
And working on the holidays, how a holiday wish came true for 3 Wisconsin firefighters.
Plus, releasing an American icon, this Wisconsin bird's long journey to recovery. That's all coming up on News 3 Now at 10.
Well, good evening. Hope you all had a wonderful Christmas day today. Warm air is pushing into the Madison region tonight.
And there's a chance for some freezing drizzle. Alex has more on how the wintry mix could affect your morning commute. Hey, Alex.
Hey there, I sure do. In fact, we have just a little bit of freezing drizzle going on out here right now on the pad. If I lift my glasses right up, some of the drops actually land right on the glasses. And I passed this along to the National Weather Service as they want verification that freezing drizzle is starting to form. And it is here, at least out at our patio. More drizzle and freezing drizzle and a few slick spots are a possibility tonight going on into the Thursday morning commute. And here's another part of the story. Look at Mineral Point, Lone Rock, Madison over towards Watertown. Temperatures at freezing. North, considerably colder, warmer to the south towards Janesville. So you really can see where that line of freezing drizzle will likely set up from, let's say, Dodgeville, Mineral Point to Madison to Watertown, and areas off towards the north and towards the west, and the better chance of having freezing drizzle tonight. We got 29 in Madison, but 32 to the south in Belleville. Radar 3000 not really showing anything, and freezing drizzle is very hard for radar to pick up, at least until it gets heavy enough for the radar to start to be able to pick it up. And eventually it will here as we go a little bit further into the night tonight, and I don't see anything right now, but future track radar shows that freezing drizzle becoming heavier and starting to make it to the ground, and this is when that icing concern can start from the U.S. Highway 151 corridor and off to the northwest as we go into Thursday morning. Also coming up in Maine weather, we'll track the ice chance and also the good chances for rain and how much rain we can expect by the end of the weekend.
Alex, thank you. Madison alder Charles Miadze, charged with 8 felonies in relation to years of alleged domestic abuse, claims 2 of his fellow alders broke the city's code of ethics. Miadze filed ethics complaints against Alder Juliana Bennett and Common Council President Yannette Figueroa Cole on December 3rd. He was arrested on December 12th. In the complaints, Miadze accuses Bennett of defamation, among other things. Bennett publicly accused Miadze of sexual harassment and creating a hostile work environment after a city-funded investigation found his alleged actions weren't severe or persistent enough to violate city, state, or federal law. City Attorney Michael Haas tells News 3 Now the Ethics Board will meet at the end of January to decide whether to hear the complaints. In an exclusive interview in November, Miadze told us he would file ethics complaints. He was censured by the council and replaced on his committees this month, days before he was arrested. He's due back in court on February 3rd.
Last week, the shooting at Abundant Life Christian School publicly redefined Madison, but now that the national attention is gone, the holidays are here and our city is working to heal. We take a look at what makes Madison the place we call home.
If you Google Madison, Wisconsin, one thing will dominate the search results. But for those of us who live here, Madison is so much bigger than a headline.
Madison, Wisconsin.
In Madison, Wisconsin.
Madison, Wisconsin.
Madison, Wisconsin.
Madison, Wisconsin.
This is unfortunately part of our fabric now.
On December 16th,
a day that will always be etched in the memories of people in Madison.
Madison joined the hundreds of cities who have lost community members in school shootings.
We are one of those statistics now.
And Madisonians felt all eyes on them.
Really, it felt like an actual spotlight casting, I don't know, this sort of like national issue, and then now all these people are gone.
But in just days, the international attention faded, leaving Madison as just another number. So what else makes Madison, Madison? We ask those who know best about the people.
Everybody here is really nice, especially when you're on the street and you smile at somebody, they'll smile back at you.
Lots of our friends are there.
The people are really accepting. Places.
Camp Randall, Old Fashions.
Yeah, the Children's Museum.
The historical buildings that are here.
Going to the zoo.
And things.
Go see what's happening around the Capitol, walk on State Street, go to the games. A lot of energy.
Madison is very welcoming, very diverse.
Jump around.
People are really active.
That make Madison what it is.
We can't let one violent event define us, but we can continue to respond positively and to support our community members. And that should really be the story.
Reporting in Madison, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
Well, a lot of people are unable to spend the holidays with their families because of their jobs. But in Milwaukee, 3 siblings were granted a Christmas Eve wish and got to work their shifts together. Hundreds of miles from the North Pole, the man in red made a stop at Milwaukee Fire Station 16. This year, Santa had some help granting one wish. Nick, Gabby, and CJ Kane, there they are all firefighters with the city. So while some families may spend Christmas Eve opening presents and eating cookies, for the Canes, being able to spend it on duty with each other is something even Santa couldn't dream of.
They always say, like, you know, the firehouse becomes your second family, especially today, too. It's awesome having your actual family, like, there as well. It means a ton to us. I just hope that we can return the favor.
Although they were on the clock, the siblings said they planned to find some time to watch a Christmas movie together.
Well, many families have Christmas traditions that span back decades.
But one household in Cleveland, Wisconsin has been carrying on theirs for almost 100 years. Mackenzie Camel has a story.
So these pictures are kind of just really the very start of the scene.
Christmas is a big deal at the Schermetzler household.
Oh, there it goes.
Marked by their elaborate tree display.
We don't ever remember it not being set up at our home when I was young. My grandfather started it.
Now passed on to Dave and Renee.
When we were young girls and that, we said, well, one of us will have to marry an electrician so that we get the Christmas tree. So I was the lucky one that married an electrician.
They've added water features, moving parts, and twinkling lights.
A nun there directing the carolers and stuff. There's quite a few carolers singing. We have the farm and dairy cows and stuff, and well, this is Wisconsin, so we got to have that.
The ski lift would be the favorite. I think that's the one we looked at as kids.
From humble beginnings, now
600 some items under the tree.
Roughly 40 hours of setup time. When we lay everything out, it's got to be just perfect or it won't fit.
They'd close off the living room for about 4 days, and my brothers and I would go crazy because that was the place we played when we were kids.
Every piece is intentional.
The rocks around the mountain up there are from our favorite place. We like to go camping.
Real moss and a tree stump stand that dates back generations.
Grandpa got the stump on the beach for they didn't have any money to buy a tree stand.
While the paint was drying, he threw sand against it to stick on to give it kind of a texture.
Handwritten memories keep the history alive.
Before my grandma passed, she'd come and see it, and you could see it in her eye that she loved the tree.
The grandkids have come to love the tradition too, each season trying to spot which piece is new.
I think there's a lot of people that have things similar to this, but nothing that's been going on this long. This is pushing 100 years old. I think very few have the tradition, the history behind it, where it's been passed from generation to generation.
Keeping families together that way and enjoying the holidays together and a special bond there with the tree.
While some might call it a holiday miracle, this year the first night of Hanukkah falls on the same day as Christmas. It's just the 5th time in the last 114 years that this has happened. The reason the dates don't usually line up is because in the Hebrew calendar, months are based on the moon cycles, while Christianity follows the Gregorian calendar that follows the sun.
I just think it's really important to give each one its due, not to sort of blend them together as in the term Christmaka, because I think that does harm to the uniqueness of each. But the proximity can actually lead all of us to understand more, to appreciate more about those who make up different faiths.
The two holidays will overlap again in 2035.
A symbol of our nation makes his way home for the holidays. Who's Woods Raptor Center in Milton just released a 4-year-old bald eagle. Look at it go.
Whoa.
Pisces was injured several months ago that left his tail in poor condition with several broken feathers. The center performed a procedure called imping, where molted feathers from other eagles are attached to the damaged ones, restoring the tail to full function. Pisces was successfully released at the tall grass prairies north of Milton.
Well, after the break, Alex tells us about the warmer than usual weather headed our way.
And President Biden had a busy Christmas Eve. The dozens of bills that are now the law of the land. That's next.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Welcome back. President Joe Biden had a busy Christmas Eve, signing 50 new bills into law as he wraps up his time in office.
Katrina Kaufman is at the White House with a look at some of the measures that are now the law of the land.
The bald eagle has captivated Americans from the birth of the United States, adorning everything from the presidential seal to the $1 bill. And yet it was not the nation's official bird until now.
That should have been done many years ago.
Preston Cook, a volunteer at the National Eagle Center could not find any documentation formally designating the bald eagle status. He urged his congressman to do something about it. Congress passed the bill unanimously, and President Biden signed it into law Tuesday.
I'm so grateful to announce the introduction of the bipartisan Stop Institutional Child Abuse Act.
Reality TV star and hotel heiress Paris Hilton has spent 3 years lobbying lawmakers for more oversight of residential programs for troubled teens. Hilton, who says she was abused in such a facility, was on the Hill last Thursday to see Congress pass the measure with overwhelming bipartisan support.
I just had tears flooding down my face. I was just so excited.
And now, lawmakers convicted of some crimes will no longer be able to receive their congressional pension. The legislation was introduced the same day corruption charges were announced against then-Democratic Senator Bob Menendez. The president signed a total of 50 bills into law Christmas Eve as his time in the White House comes to a close, with President-elect Trump set to be sworn into office next month. Trump spent Christmas morning posting about a range of topics on social media, from urging the Senate to confirm his cabinet picks to amplifying a column critical of Biden's time in office. He also wished everyone a Merry Christmas. Katrina Kaufman, CBS News, the White House.
President Biden spent the morning calling some members of each branch of the military stationed around the world, thanking them for their service.
Panama's president pushes back after President-elect Trump threatened to retake the waterway for the U.S., accusing Panama of charging, quote, exorbitant rates to use the canal. Protests were held outside the U.S. Embassy. Many of those in attendance were union workers who help ships across from one ocean to the other. They believe it's an insult to suggest the canal should go back to the United States. Panama's president was a bit more dismissive of the idea. He said the canal and the area surrounding it belongs to the Panamanian people and suggested that Trump should learn more history.
That is a manifestation of gross ignorance of history. So all those speculations and all that range of eventualities that are not going to happen, well, I leave them there as totally irrelevant issues and quite bordering on historical incoherence with what the Panama Canal has been, is, and will be.
It isn't clear what President-elect Trump can actually do to retake control of the canal. On December 31st, the Panamanian government is going to celebrate 25 years since the United States handed over control of the canal.
Amid worldwide celebrations today, Pope Francis is calling for a negotiation to end the war in Ukraine and a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. It comes after today's aerial attack by Russia, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky calling the Christmas Day attack inhumane. From the St. Peter's Basilica balcony, the Pope asking for, quote, the sound of weapons to be silenced in Ukraine and speaking to the Middle Eastern conflict as well.
May the sound of arms be silenced in the Middle East. In contemplating the crib of Bethlehem, I think of the Christian communities in Israel and Palestine, and particularly to the dear community of Gaza, where the humanitarian situation is extremely grave.
The calls for peace come as both Israel and Hamas accuse the other of complicating ceasefire efforts.
Well, the next couple days going to be pretty warm for southern Wisconsin.
Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington joins us now to break down the warm-up and our rain chances.
Yeah, and as part of that warm-up, this is where we get that transition. We get the wintry conditions and a little bit of drizzle and freezing drizzle and slick spots are something I want to be abundantly clear to southern Wisconsin you may wake up to Thursday morning if you have any travel plans. Part of the story I can tell you right here with our current temperatures stretching from Mineral Point to Madison, right up U.S. Highway 151. We're right around freezing or colder than freezing. South of that line, temperatures just at or above freezing. So the freezing drizzle possibility is there, especially for Madison and areas to the north and towards the west along 151 here. We got 31 in Verona, 29 in Madison, 29 in Waunakee, 28 on the other side of the Wisconsin River in Sauk County. Now, nothing here is showing up on radar 3000, but just being out on the patio, there are a few of those drops that are starting to fall from the atmosphere. And as they fall on temperature or surfaces rather that are below freezing, then they freeze on those surfaces. As we widen things out here and take a look then at future track, notice over southwestern Wisconsin, a couple little pink dots here as we head towards midnight. Even here in Madison, a blue and a pink dot. That's that freezing drizzle starting to be picked up, becoming more widespread as we head towards 6 a.m. Lone Rock to Madison, up towards Juneau and Beaver Dam, up towards Marquette and Green Lake counties are standing the chance of seeing that freezing drizzle most likely from Madison and points to the south and east. Marching forward further into Thursday, widespread showers breaking out right about this time, 10:15 as we go into Thursday evening. Now, while ice amounts, you're probably looking at this, well, that's not very hefty amount of ice, Alex. It takes very little amount of ice to cause slick spots out there. Just that tiny glaze is all you need to cause those slick spots, especially in untreated roads, bridges, overpasses, on-ramps, those back roads that don't get as much travel, and the sidewalks too. If you are going to be taking maybe your dog out for a walk tomorrow morning, be careful. Those slick spots may be there, and it's going to take a little bit further into Thursday to melt away some of that snow. Highs, though, or melt away some of the ice, it should say, but snow we're going to talk about as well. 40 for high in Madison, upper 30s to the north, lower 40s to the south, so a very mild day, 10 degrees above normal. Now, take note of all the Christmas trees here. Many of them are white, but some of them are also brown. This Christmas, 2024, confirmed this morning 2 inches of snow at the airport as of 6 a.m. and as of noon, puts 2024 as a white Christmas here in Madison for those of you that like white Christmas history. Now, unfortunately, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. We got rain on the way, good chances as we go into Friday. And future track, just take note of the constant green, periods of green. Thursday night going into Friday, Friday night going into Saturday, and perhaps into Saturday night, and maybe even a shower yet on Sunday with the showery activity and also these temperatures that I'm going to show you here in just a moment. That snow, unfortunately, that we have out there in southern Wisconsin as we get up close to 50 degrees, near 40 by nighttime. A lot of that snow is going to be gone as we transition towards this warmer weather. And then briefly, as we head towards New Year's Eve, watching a weather system that could bring a mix of rain and snow.
All right, Alex, thank you. 2024 was a big year for 2 musicians. After the break, we'll take a look at the entertainment released this year.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
2024, it's almost over. It was quite a year in entertainment. Hollywood recovered from devastating strikes, and some famous people wound up in court.
Rappers Kendrick Lamar and Drake beefed up their diss tracks battle, and 2 superstars tightened their hold on the top of the music industry. David Daniel looks back at the last 12 months of Hollywood happenings.
I was grinning like I'm winning, I was hitting my marks, 'cause I can do it with a broken heart.
Taylor Swift's record-breaking Eras Tour came to an end in December. While she was on the road, her album The Tortured Poets Department spent 15 weeks at #1 and became the first album in Spotify history to top 300 million streams in a single day.
16 carriages driving away while I watch them ride with my dreams away.
Beyoncé went country. Cowboy Carter was her 8th album to top the Billboard 200 and the first album by a black woman to top Billboard's country chart in its 60-year history. Billboard also named her the greatest pop star of the 21st century.
Put your lipstick on.
Ariana Grande had a good year, scoring a #1 album, Eternal Sunshine, 2 #1 singles, Yes and We Can't Be Friends, and a #1 movie, Wicked.
Come with me. What? To meet the wizard. I couldn't possibly. This is your moment. I'm coming.
Oppenheimer ruled the Oscars, winning 7 trophies, including Best Picture. Killers of the Flower Moon star Lily Gladstone made history at the Golden Globes as the first Indigenous person to win Best Actress. It was the year of 2 Emmy ceremonies. The 2023 awards were presented in January, delayed 4 months due to the writers and actors strikes. Then the 2024 Emmys took place in September as usual.
Hello. I'm anxiety. Where can I put my stuff?
Disney's sequels dominated the domestic box office, with Inside Out 2 and Deadpool and Wolverine each topping $600 million, and Moana 2 setting a Thanksgiving weekend record. Sean Diddy Combs was arrested in September and charged with sex trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, and other charges. The hip-hop mogul has been denied bail multiple times. He's pleaded not guilty and is due to go to trial in May.
The sanction of dismissal is the only warranted remedy.
Better legal news for Alec Baldwin. A judge dismissed the involuntary manslaughter charge against the actor in the 2021 death of Rust cinematographer Helena Hutchins. More legal and health challenges for Harvey Weinstein. He pleaded not guilty to a new charge of a first-degree criminal sex act, and an appeals court overturned his 2020 conviction. A new trial has been delayed by health problems. And Bennifer 2.0 came to an end. In August, Jennifer Lopez filed for the dissolution of her marriage to Ben Affleck, 2 years after they finally tied the knot, and nearly 22 years after their first engagement. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
This holiday season marks the 20th anniversary of the blockbuster Christmas movie, The Polar Express. The film arrived on the big screen back in 2004 with Tom Hanks leading a cast, expanding on the Chris Van Allsburg children's book. The movie used then cutting-edge motion capture technology and computer animation to mimic the book's painted illustrations. For years now, it's become a rolling stage show. Mike May designed this production, along with shows on more than 60 trains around the world. 1.5 million tickets are sold annually, revenue that's become a lifeline for small historic railroads.
It's been a really great combination of taking entertainment and theater and history and merging it all together, and gets kids involved and does a great thing for rail preservation.
The Polar Express is one of the top-grossing holiday movies of all time, earning more than $300 million at the box office.
And don't forget to check out this week's special holiday edition of Wisconsin Huddle. Sports director Zach Hanley looks back at some of the best moments during the first 14 episodes. Show airs Friday at 6:30 right here on News 3 Now. We'll be right back.
Tonight, sources are saying this holiday season, I'm Oprah's favorite thing.
Colbert's got Nicole Kidman, CBS tonight.
Well, finally tonight, firefighters in Fairfax County, Virginia jump into an icy creek to rescue a dog. On Monday, crews were called to a stream for reports of a dog stuck in the water.
Footage released by the department shows 3 firefighters using a flotation device to bring the dog to shore. The department says the dog was taken to a local vet for evaluation.
Good thing you got saved.
Oh, thank God for those firefighters. There was one in New Jersey. They used a chicken cutlet on a drone to lead the dog back to shore. So
these guys should have picked up on that. That's a good strategy.
They should have, yes.
Well, a quick thing about weather. Tomorrow morning, that commute, freezing drizzle. Don't let your guard down. Could have some slick spots. So if you're traveling tomorrow morning, could be a slick go, especially for Madison and areas north and west. Then we got highs near 50 by the time we get to this weekend. Plenty of rain Friday going into Saturday. Maybe a weather system as we go out towards New Year's Eve, and then turning colder, where we should be for this time of year. Want to give a shout out to Maryland, Beaver Dam, and then also Phil showing us some of these very frosty formations that we had this morning with the freezing fog, which we could have again tomorrow morning.
Very cool photos. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again on News 3 this morning.